Okay, should we just go straight into it?
Yeah, let's do it, man.
Okay. I'm so excited. I've not said this in a little while. I'm preparing. Oh, here we go. Got the tingles, Chris. Got the tingles. Let's do it. Hello and welcome to Steven University. We're back, baby. Oh yeah.
None of that old movie shit. Although we're still going to post one of those, but still.
Yeah, we're back. There is, I promise, still an episode coming about looking at the movie retrospectively. Now that the documentary and DVD is out, we just.
Oh no, I meant no. This isn't a rewind review. This is Steven University.
Oh yeah, that too. Oh shit, yeah. Didn't even think about that. Yeah, we're back, baby. Holy shit. It's hiatus watch, admittedly, but what a hell of a hiatus watch this is going to be. We are, very conveniently, we were planning on recording this evening for something else, and this trailer dropped a few hours ago, and we just decided to fucking do it. So, this is a very quick response from us, by our normal standards, but I'm excited. And we got a new trailer.
Yeah, I mean, you say quick. I'm assuming like that's the kiss of death, mate. We'll be 45 minutes, an hour and a half. You're saying quick, buddy. Woo!
Yeah, that's true. But in this case, like it's a pretty short trailer, but there is a surprising amount to unpack from it. If I'm being honest with you, we should jump right in, I guess, because why the hell not, right? So we got a new Steven Universe Future trailer. I don't.
Can we just because we got sidetracked? We will, as Dan said. So I meant it's not a rewind review, but actually we are still going to post one of them because we got a film we want to hit by a certain deadline. But also, as Dan was in the middle of saying, we are at some point going to do the movie retrospective so many months on. But this came up now. It's timely, so we're back for this. And then don't worry, we've not forgotten about Steven University. We will do the movie thing.
Yeah, we got to do the movie thing, and we got to do a couple of other bits to we can catch up on. I'm also working on potentially on a video that if I can find the time to edit it, I'm pretty excited about. But here's the thing as well, quickly. So yes, for those of you expecting a rewind review tonight, that 10 Things I Hate About You rewind review will still be going up this week, but it's now been pushed back 2 days. I'm going to put it up on Thursday instead, just to give it some Thursday going into Friday in the UK time. Instead, just so we don't have two things going up at the exact same time. So we're still on schedule. Anyway, cool. All that stuff out the way, let's jump into the trailer. First of all, worth noting, I don't 100% know where this trailer came from. My understanding from what I've been able to figure out, because this all happened while I was at work today. Oh dear lord, my computer just started making noises at me. Yeah, I was at work and I look at my phone and I just was like, oh fuck, we're gonna have to do a video tonight, aren't we? I just knew it. But also I was just like, where has this come from? Like there was no promo, there was no tease, we've got a trailer coming a couple of days. There was no inkling we were getting new footage anytime soon. I really didn't think we'd see footage for this until January at least. What seems to have happened is they seem to be prepping the launch of a Steven Universe Future YouTube page. And please, if I'm wrong about this, someone feel free to correct me in the comments. I have had 30 minutes to prep for this, and I've done as much research as I could in the time I had. So if I've got something wrong, please do feel free to correct me, but bear with us. My understanding, though, is that they basically had a video pre-uploaded, and then you could purchase it or something, through some sort of, I don't know if it was set to I don't know if it was set to be a purchasable video on the YouTube channel to stop people from looking at it ahead of time or something. You know, and you can buy a video on YouTube. But I just read a comment from someone that says, I've purchased it and captured it, and now it's everywhere, obviously, because you can't stop the signal, as they say on Firefly. So it seems to have gone out. It seems to have been attached to the original promo. So the video that they purchased, in quote marks, and I don't know what exactly they mean by that, but it's somehow embedded into this upcoming Steven Universe Future YouTube channel. It seems to be the original 30-second, 20-second intro we had from Comic-Con, on New York Comic-Con, and then it goes into this at the end of that. Who knows? So
I mean, that's a weird thing to sell, but we don't know the full details of that, so we'll won't go into that too much.
Yeah, so exactly what's happened, I don't know. Maybe we'll talk about that at a later date. But we've got this trailer, and I feel like breaking it down is definitely worth doing because there's a ton of cool stuff and stuff to speculate on here. We'll start at the biggest one, I feel.
Well, can we do overall thoughts?
Sure.
Or do you want to do that?
No, that's a great idea. No, let's do that.
So what was your over... Because I was like, oh man, new Steven Universe content, cool, this looks awesome, this looks amazing, oh sweet, they're going to explore this, they're going to explore that. Kind of feels like season 6. Like, that was my big, like... I hate to, like, I'm just getting that out of the way. Like, it was just a bit like... That was my only thing. I was like, oh, I'm really pumped, and I'm glad it's this, but it just... Yeah, just set season 6 after a time jump. But I don't know, maybe I'm being petty there. Actually, maybe like making it its own thing is cool. It's more of a spin-off. I don't know.
I think they're setting it up as its own thing, so like we know that not to expect the big overarching story. Because what I took away from this was, wow, there are 3 or 4 very clear individual episodes going on here, and I can tell you which shots are from which, or pretty close to which shots are from which, and that's really interesting.
Those flags again.
Which one, sir?
Typical Doolin. I said planting those flags. Typical Doolin.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure, but like I think there's a couple of clear episodes I could see in this, and what it told me, or
shimmying the flag out the ground a little bit again, typical Doolin.
What I took from it was that I feel like it's going to be very episodic in nature. If I was guessing, and the episodes will deal with some pretty heavy stuff, but the overarching diamonds, end of the world stuff. Even though this all feels very dramatic, it all feels very small compared to that. You know what I mean? We've not got shots of Steven fighting big diamond type, and I'm not saying that stuff's not coming, but it feels very much like this is going, hey, don't worry, it's still Steven Universe, tone and style and all that stuff, but it also kind of like harkening back to early Steven Universe when it was like individual episodes. And we'll talk about what some of those episodes might be when we go into it in more detail. But yeah, I think my overall opinion was just excitement for more shots of the show. Relief that it does feel so much like Steven Universe, because obviously you tell us it's a new show with the marketing, and I go, huh, but I liked the old show. May I have some more of the old thing, please? I don't want New Coke. New Coke was bad, So the relief was my initial reaction. Then my reaction was, oh shit, I'm at work. I shouldn't be sat at the desk watching this. My computer's gone to sleep. I've been looking at this and reading about it for more than a few minutes. I should definitely stop and get back to work. So yeah, that was my immediate situation. But yeah. I don't think I have any more to say overall. It's definitely atmospheric, and it's definitely not too information-y. It's a good balance,
I don't think so. No.
It's a really good balance of like stuff you can infer stuff from, but nothing that outright confirms anything.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like we're getting the end of the story particularly.
No, I don't feel so. No, I don't feel so at all.
So let's go bit by bit. Hit me.
So, first shot, obviously Steven with the car keys. Getting in the car, he can drive now, and he's being joined by a new gem that, Chris, I think is most people are assuming, based on the gem's shape and cut, this, Chris, might very well be a legitimate rose quartz.
I did wonder that, because I was like, well, she looks a bit like an amethyst, but a lot bigger.
Yep.
So, is this a quartz?
Yes. I honestly think so. I really do feel that that's who that is. For a couple of reasons. First of all, the gem. The gem is absurdly rose quartz. It looks like Steve. It looks a lot like Steven's gem did when it rotated front ways. But slightly off. It's not off color, but like slightly off Steven's color, because of course, as Eyeball pointed out from inside the bubble, the color of his gem is not a true quartz gem. It's more of a reddish whatever. That I can't remember the exact quote. But the interesting thing about this is the diamonds come across kind of inept here, because they've repeatedly said all the rose quartzes were rounded up. This is prior to the war ending. This is during the war, like when rose quartz rebelled. All rounded up and bubbled, and this one is corrupted, which means it was on Earth when the corrupting light hit, which means they missed one. So, and they, as a society, the Diamonds, as much as they felt like they were really organized and on it, they weren't. They were a bit of a mess, it seems. So it doesn't surprise me they missed one. But yeah, she's definitely
unless it
showing
is an
signs.
amethyst then that's been corrupted.
What's that, sorry?
That's the other option. Unless it's an amethyst that's been corrupted. That's the other option.
Yeah, I mean, but amethysts are a form of quartz. And she is much pinker than the other amethysts we see in fact in this trailer, because we'll get back to it in a second. But the Famethyst
we get
return,
of them, don't we?
and none of them are the shade and appearance of her. They're all sort of darker colors like reds and purples. One even leaning towards orange. It's possible. You're right. It could be any kind of quartz gem, really, but I think it's looking like a strong possibility that this gem is a quartz, rose quartz. To be precise.
My immediate thought, and let me pull it up, because I don't want to say this and be like, that's obviously not the case.
While you're pulling it up, it's worth. I'll just quickly say this, just to fill the time very quickly. There's a very clear sequence of events as well in this trailer. You see him getting in the car with her. You see him driving towards the town, which is now complete. The new little home world, whatever it's called, and that building with the spinny thing on top is then where they're doing the exercises in the next shot, because you can see they're on the roof of that building. You can see the edge of the stonework, and you can see the bit where the plinth meets it in the middle. So he takes her to the exercise class, and then there's a shot later with him taking her to see bismuth. So he takes her to visit Little Homeworld, which means maybe she was out and about elsewhere, and now he's introducing her to Little Homeworld, and that's the plot of the episode. There's also a shot later in the trailer of her opening her eye. Well, I think it's her opening her eye. That must be her forming again after. Maybe they find. Oh, that could be it, actually. It could be that Steven finds the gem elsewhere, corrupted, brings it back to the fountain, uncorrupts her, and brings her to Little Homeworld and introduces it to her. And maybe that's one of the first episodes, and it's the idea is Steven is still going out into the world, finding the odd corrupted gem, and bringing them home, reviving them, introducing them to Little Homeworld.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's better than my instinct was actually, is it a morphed amethyst, as in our amethyst? But not morphed, but what's the term when she
shapeshifting?
Shape-shifted amethyst. But I think that is definitely wrong.
Yeah, I don't think her gem's in the wrong place to be amethyst.
Yeah,
and the wrong color.
Yeah, I mean, I said wrong.
Yeah, no, I know. I was simply double checking myself and looking at it and finding reasons for finding to either prove or disprove the theory. So I wonder if that's them setting up Steven's general new mission in life, which is he's still going out finding corrupted gems, because of course they hadn't captured them all. There were still corrupted gems roaming the earth. We know this because, I mean, as recently as season 3 or whatever, they were still capturing the odd corrupted gem. Season 4 even there was that one where Peridot, the Roadrunner one, where Peridot captures a corrupted gem out in the desert.
Yeah, and it's quite clever, really, because by them having to go into the bathwater and do it, those corrupted gems can still be out there.
Exactly, and they'd still be corrupted. So Steven would have to catch them, bubble them, bring them back, put them in the water, and then be the one to go, "Hey, welcome back. Let me show you the world you now live in," and then takes her around, and he's showing her that they exercise. He's showing her bismuth has got a job, a bunch of stuff. So I think that might be just like a really nice, sweet episode about Steven introducing this new. Whether she's a rose quartz or not, I do think the crux of the episode will be Steven introducing her to the world as it now is. I think that's a likely option.
Yeah, I think so.
I mean, any thoughts about this new gem beyond that?
No, not beyond that. I think she looks cool though. I think, and it's quite exciting, the idea that she's maybe a rose quartz. Yeah. Steven certainly looks very proud, which is very sweet.
Yeah, I would agree. There's a more serious and disturbing element Well, actually, before we get to that, we'll come to that in a second. Not to her plot, but to something with Steven that happens while they're doing that. They also have the shot of everyone doing art with Vidalia. I wonder if that, because it looks like it's a little homeworld based on the architecture behind them. I wonder if that's also one of the things he takes her to see.
I would have thought so.
She's not visible in that shot, though, where she is visible in all the other shots. But I think that's another thing Steven's taken a look at. It's nice, though.
Which would make sense.
Well, wasn't it yellow? Blue likes to draw, and yellow was liked to model of the pearls, and the yellow pearl is modeling, and blue pearl is drawing her, as is some of the other gems that were revived in the bath at the end of Change Your Mind.
Yeah, I think that's right.
I love that Vidalia's gone to teach them. She's doing an art class for gems.
It's just cool to keep everyone there. You know what I mean?
I agree. Interesting that the Earth and Heaven Beetle are with Bismuth. Not sure why, but cool. It's odd. I don't know why they're just on her hand while she's bashing away at the... It's a really weird choice. They're just there. They're hanging out. Why not, I guess. You know, I'm starting to think this might be the first episode of Steven Universe Future.
Yeah, that would make sense. That would make sense as an opening shot, wouldn't it? As an opening gambit to it.
Yeah, I mean, that shot of her eye opening might be the first shot of the episode, and she wakes up and Steven's like, "Hi, we fixed you. Let's introduce you to the world," because it would be a good way to just sort of do a good excuse to go around and catch up where everyone's up to.
What a great way to introduce her to the world, and introduce the audience to the world as well.
Yeah. So on the subject of that bismuth shot, at that point, so the first thing he says in the trailer, which is I assume dialogue from that episode, is life's a little different these days. We're all safe to explore our dreams, and soon we'll be able to put the past behind us. As he says that, it flickers and goes all crazy, and there are three very important shots that flicker in, and I had to really go by frame to catch all three of them. There's one of Pink Steven looking very angry, being reflected in what looks like broken glass. Then you skip to the next one, and it's Pink Steven looking slightly less angry, holding his hands up as if to say, "What am I doing?" And then the final one is his hands over his mouth, and he looks mortified with whatever it is he's done. They're really hard to spot because they are very quick. For listeners on iTunes, Spotify, whatever, if you want to see these shots, I have screen grabbed them. They're in the video version, youtube.com/nothingbutstatic.uk. Come have a look, and then while you're there, subscribe. I'm a whore, don't care. Want the subscribers. Give me the money. But it's a really interesting set of shots. They link obviously heavily to a shot later in the trailer where Steven turns pink.
Yeah, I couldn't work out, what was happening here, and I must admit, this was the moment. I think, it's going back to discussing the promotion rather than the trailer itself. But I thought this was the moment where I did my kind of because that framing of everything's great. Oh no, we did with the movie trailer, and we did with the movie itself. So I think this was the moment where I was like, but that doesn't in any way lessen the intrigue of it.
Yes.
It seems like it's connected to the warp pad, and that's somehow unlocking, I viewed those shots as being connected to the Rose shot as well. And it being him unlocking his memories of her or something.
That is an interesting thought. There's a shot of him touching, it's not the warp pad, it's the control panel from Rose's armory.
Oh, is that what it is?
So yeah, there's a shot of him reaching out to a hand-shaped thing, and I could be wrong. I'd have to see the two side by side, which I didn't get time to check before we came to record this, frustratingly. But when he reaches out, I feel like that button that he's hitting, it looks identical to the one that controls Rose's armory. Do you remember when he got took him there and he put his hand on it? He was like, "I don't know what this does," and then suddenly swords started coming out of the ground. That's a really early episode. It's like a him and Connie adventure type thing. I don't know if you remember.
Yeah, vaguely.
I think that's what that looks like. But then they immediately cut to a shot of doors opening and Rose coming through. I have a funny feeling, though, the Rose shot is related to the Pink Pearl shots in this. I think we're getting potentially a flashbacky episode dealing with Pink Pearl's trauma and her past.
Which is great. I was very excited to see all that stuff in there.
Yeah, so there's a couple of shots from relating to that. The main ones, obviously, there's one that's really stylized of her with a sort of silhouette of Pink Diamond behind her, which is why I think that episode is going to be flashbacky, because historically in the show, they've always gone stylized for flashbacks.
Mm. And that looked ultra stylized.
Yeah, it is. It's pretty... Yeah, it is. Even she's slightly posed and framed with the flickery eye in like an anime style. Without breaking the rules of the animation they use here. Yeah, and I found that really interesting. And then when you go through, there's a shot of her and her eyes, like she starts to crack further. I don't know if you caught that shot.
Yeah.
So a lot of people are saying, oh, is she getting sicker? Is she getting worse? Like her eye is cracked and it seems to, like the crack seems to spread across her face. I was wondering if that's also flashback. Oh no, it can't be. No, it can't be.
No, because then it healed or whatever.
No, it doesn't heal. It seems to get worse. But I've just realized.
No, but it.
Go on, sorry.
Yeah, the continuity. If it was a flashback, she'd presumably be that cracked still. Is what I meant.
Well, yeah, no, but not only that, but going a little bit further into the trailer, there's a shot of her in the same location, holding her head, and Pearl is in it in her current costume. So that's that shot of her crack getting worse must be present day. That's interesting. I don't know what that is then. What do you think could be the cause of her crack getting worse?
Anger? Because who did you think? It all depends. Do we know whose voice it is at the end saying "You're not my diamond"?
I'm pretty confident that's Jasper. So I personally think that's related to the Pink Steven stuff. I'll come back to my theory on that in a little bit. But if we're talking about Pink Pearl while we're here,
I wondered if it was her. It's her decomposing and getting angry at Steven, but that doesn't fit as well if it's Jasper.
I'm fairly confident that voice was Jasper's.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, and it goes along with a shot where, well, we'll talk about that in a minute. But so basically, the shots we have of Pink Pearl. Let's see if we can put this together or like make some sense of it. We've got a shot of her stylized with Rose behind her. We have the shot of the door opening with Rose. Well, no, sorry. Actually, let's clarify. The shot of her with the diamond behind her it's Pink Diamond in her Pink Diamond form. There is a shot of doors opening and it being Rose, like Rose. So after she's, gone to Earth and changed her look. Then we have two shots of her outside of that. They seem to be in the exact same location. There's this kind of bluey background with these sort of lines through it. It looks like a gate or something, and there's like smoke at the bottom. In both those shots, one, her crack gets worse. She's smiling, but her crack gets much worse. And then in the second of those shots, she sort of leans forward and holds her head as if that is causing her pain, but Pearl is with her. And it's a wider shot, like they've pulled out, and now Pearl is with her. So I honestly have no idea what's going on there. It's like she's being attacked or something's happening to hurt her more. I really don't know what it is, though.
I think in the Pearl shot, someone's definitely attacking her.
Yeah, because Pearl does look like she's in action. She's in action mode.
Yeah, but also I don't necessarily. She's touching her. I don't think she's like keeping her face together or anything. I think it's noise.
Right. Okay.
So whatever's landing or attacking is making a shitload of noise.
Interesting. Yeah, could be. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, that's causing the crack to get worse. And then she's holding her head. Yeah, and I can see the smoke in the bottom of the shot as well. But I can't pinpoint this location. I feel like I should be recognizing this location, but I can't place it. Yeah.
I just assumed Homeworld, Diamonds, Tower,
Well, yeah, but I mean, there's no other shots in this trailer that indicate they're leaving Beach City and Little Homeworld. So maybe it's Little Homeworld, maybe. Oh, I don't know.
Because is it Amethyst Eye before it? Oh, whose eye is that in the shot before she's holding her head?
That's the shot I referred to earlier. I think that's the rose quartz gem opening her eye.
Oh, yep. Right, I'm with you.
It's hard to tell, but the color matches. It's a very generic sort of eye with hair around it, but I think that could be the gem that Steven's showing around later. Design-wise, it fits her reasonably well, and color scheme-wise, because she's got hair over one eye as well. Whoever that new gem is, whether she's a rose quartz or not, I think that eye opening is her. Yeah, I mean, I'm just mostly. I'll be honest with you, Chris. What I'm excited about here is a bit more pink pearl. To be honest with you.
Yeah, I think it's wonderful to be getting a flashback dealing with her. I think that sort of suggests that a lot of the things we were worried wouldn't be addressed are going to be, and that's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose the question now is, and I'm sure a lot of people will disagree with me, is that rose quartz shot a part of that? Because you would argue that Pink Pearl's relationship was with Pink Diamond, so in what way would her story connect to rose quartz? The rose quartz form of Pink Diamond, if that makes sense. The answer to that I have for you is I don't know, but I think it is. I think at the very least, even if it isn't related to the Pink Pearl plot, that was a mouthful. Say that 5 times fast. Pink Pearl plot. I do think that Rose shot is a flashback. For anyone thinking Rose is coming back in some way, or someone's taking her form in some way, I really, I don't think so. I don't think so. She's gone. They made that very clear.
Yeah.
That was
exactly
emphatically made clear. Although, actually, with that said, that is not the only time Rose Quartz appears in this trailer. Of course, there is also a shot of Steven approaching the TV and turning off the tape of Rose Quartz.
Which I'm pleased that we're getting more tapes as well.
Well, are we getting more tapes, or is that the original tape? He's just rewatching it for some reason, or showing it to someone.
Oh no, I think it's a new tape.
I'm not as convinced. I have
Really?
Yeah, I mean, it's framed exactly like the original tape. It's the same shot.
No, I think new. Why would he be? That's shit if he is. I want new tape, Dan.
Maybe, yeah, unless he's showing it to Jasper to try and get Jasper on board with him being her. Maybe Jasper's really struggling with this idea that Pink Diamond became Rose Quartz, became Steven. And that video where she says how excited she is to become him, he tries to use that to win Jasper over?
Oh, maybe. But I don't know. Jasper doesn't strike me as the type of person that you sit down and... If I needed to convince her of something, I'm not going to be like, I know, let's watch a videotape.
I mean, yeah,
you know what I mean?
You've got me. You got me there. I'm not sure either. I'll be honest with you. That shot with the tape is one of the more contextless shots in the trailer. He's smiling. Yeah. He looks happy in that moment, but it is framed exactly like the shot from. I mean, it looks like a frame from that original video. So unless you shot 2 videos on the same day, I don't know if it would be. I can't imagine it would be a second. I mean, it'd be a 3rd video at this point. How many videos was she fucking making? What was she lived the last couple of months of her life just making 1,000 videos for Steven?
Yeah, but the idea of a new video means we just get to explore some other stuff from the past that we perhaps not got clarification on, which I find exciting. Yeah,
okay, yeah, sure. And I suppose that's what was in the chest.
Yeah, although I still like my theory that in the chest is bubbled rose quartzes, but yeah.
What that she that she saved.
Yeah, but if we're getting that either he's let her out that we see at the beginning, but you think there'd be more of them. That theory no longer seems to gel with some of the stuff we've got here.
Fair. That's fair.
Which is a shame because I liked it.
It was a great theory. It was a great theory. All right, well, we'll move on from that then because we don't seem to have any actual clue what we're talking about on that one.
No.
So let's talk about the Jasper stuff because I actually think the Pink Steven stuff and the Jasper stuff are the same. I think that's that story because there's a shot of Steven turning pink and there's an arm reaching in, and I think that could be part of Jasper.
It certainly looks like her, doesn't it?
Well, I mean, it's very vague. It's a red shape. Could be an arm, could be a forearm, could be a shoulder. whatever he is, he looks like he's got his hands around it and he's pushing back. And in the strain and being upset and whatever and angry, he starts to turn pink. And then we have the awesome shot at the end of the video where it's him on his front porch going full pink and then just leaping into the air. Eyes like so angry looking. Like he looks furious. So when you combine that with the shot later where he has... maybe he realizes he's become Pink Diamond, because obviously one of the first shots we had of Pink Diamond in her Pink Diamond form was when she punched that glass. Do you remember? She punched that glass and she was all angry. Maybe Steven does that and realizes he's kind of, while he's in that pink form, he's maybe too much like her. And then that's why the next shot is him looking more and more horrified with himself and putting his hands over his mouth. Like he can't believe how angry he's become. And like how out of control of himself he is. That could be a really great... Oh my god, maybe that's the plot. Because remember Zach kept talking about how one of these plots really like resonated with him. Like maybe Steven becomes like afraid of an anger that's inside of him, like a piece of his personality that he's not comfortable. It is funny
because it is we've dealt with, what I like about that is we've dealt with, should he feel guilty about what Rose did? We've dealt with all of that. A plot of when he really uses his power, does he become as bad? But then again, we've done that. He's made it so clear he's not his mum. Could it maybe be like when it gets to a certain point, he hulks out a little bit? So rather than afraid of turning into his mum,
that's what I was leaning towards.
Angry. Yeah, sorry, I thought you meant more like him using his power in some of the same ways. But yeah, I think looking at the shot of him flying up, he's hulking out.
Yeah, he doesn't look in control. It doesn't look like Steven. He's so angry. His expression is so like just pure anger. And when you look at the first of the 3 shots of him, his eyebrows are still doing that very angry thing and his teeth are clenched, and then they suddenly unclench, his eyebrows suddenly rise, and that's when his hands go to his mouth and he looks utterly horrified with himself. So I think when he goes into that pink form, it gives him a lot of power, but I think he's not as in control. And that idea of there being something inside you relating to your powers, that could really resonate, I think, with Zach as an actor. Because he's talked, you listen to his album, he obviously had some demons to work through. His album made it very clear he'd worked through some stuff. And maybe that really did resonate with Zach, and maybe that's what Zach was referring to.
So in that case, could it be hulking out Steven that's landing or fighting with the pearl? And maybe... because she's connected to him still, that's what's causing her to break.
I'm looking at the shots.
Because Pearl looks pretty scared.
She does. She does.
That's an expression that could fit. What the fuck are you doing, Steven?
Yeah.
And
that's possible.
The puff of smoke as he shoots up from the ground is very similar to the smoke that we see in the shot of Pearl.
That is true, but I will say the shot of Pearl and Pink Pearl, they appear to be in a different... The background, the smoke... Yes, does look like, but they're in a different location to the front, because he leaps off from the front porch of the house. To be fair, and they're clearly somewhere kind of glassy. It's got a blue glass vibe going on.
Dude's flying though, isn't he? He can get that pretty quick down.
You reckon that he's got? Oh, so you reckon he leaps up and then lands near them elsewhere?
Maybe. I'm not planting flags, but
Yeah, it's as reasonable a theory as any. I have a feeling, if I was putting money on it, I think they're 2 separate episodes. I think Jasper comes back and causes a bunch of trouble, and he gets really angry because he's like, why do people just keep coming to kill him? He's angry and it's ridiculous, and then he hulks out because he's just so frustrated for his friends that they keep having to go through this stuff because of his past choices. His past just keeps coming back to haunt him. So he goes all pink. He's upset because he's teary-eyed in the scene where he turns pink. Then he leaps into action as pink. as Pink Steven, does a bunch of damage, wrecks shit, which ends with him echoing Pink Diamond's punch of that glass, where a piece of glass breaks based on something he's done, and then he's mortified with himself, and then the pink drains out of him, and that's the start of maybe it solves the problem of that episode, which is whichever villain was attacking, but it continues to haunt him as this little mini season goes on. Maybe the arc is him being afraid of his own powers and learning to love himself and use them. Maybe. I'm speculating, obviously, wildly. But I if I was putting money on it,
that makes a lot of sense.
I do think there's a chance that the Pearl stuff is in the same episode as the Pink Steven stuff. But if I was putting money on it, I would predict I think it's a separate episode. Oh, is it definitely the Jasper episode? Not necessarily. The only thing we have to link the two is that vague red shape in the front of the one that he's pushing back against, that he's teary-eyed and is turning pink. But they do happen to time that shot with the voice clip of Jasper laughing and then saying, "You are not my diamond." So, who knows?
Yeah,
Chris?
that's fair.
But moving it on, let's talk about the shots of Jasper. There are three of them. There's one of Jasper sort of taking a cloak off, looking very anime and action movie-y. That was actually a theme I noticed in this whole trailer. Lots of very anime style shots the whole way through. But that cloak one's pretty badass. Then, of course, there's one of her leaping into action with the background sort of zipping by in a sort of anime style with a punch ready to go. And then, of course, what was the other one? There was another. I say, of course, and then completely forgot. And then, of course, that shot I've forgotten. Of course.
I think maybe it's just because the voiceover.
No, it might just be the voiceover. Yeah, looking back through it, it's just the voiceover. It's those two shots. Great. So there's two shots of Jasper. Whoa, unless I'm counting the third shot being the one with Jasper's arm potentially in the foreground and back being what Steven's fighting against. Not as convinced of that as I was.
I think that's definitely her arm.
Do you think? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Same sort of colour. Yeah.
Yeah. Whatever he's pushing back against, it's making him turn pink, and that's no good. Excited to see Jasper back, I assume.
Yeah, same. If not potentially more so for me personally than the Pearl. I think getting to explore the Jasper of it all is brilliant. I feel like the Jasper of it all, there's untapped potential and threads left hanging with both Pearl and Jasper.
Yeah,
but I feel like with Pearl, with the Pink Pearl, it's partly fan speculation, talking about it, some stuff that's been said. I don't know how much the show has given us to make us invest in that. Whereas Jasper, we've had bucket loads, and Amethyst saying "Hey sis" for me isn't enough. I wanna see more. So I'm personally way more up for the Jasper stuff than the Pink Pearl, even though the Pink Pearl, from a mythology point of view, it's odd because it's a slight reversal. It's me picking character over mythology.
Yes.
Yeah. But yeah.
So you're saying the urge for people to want to know more about Pink Pearl doesn't come from having any real affection for her character. We don't know her character. It's just coming from a place of, ooh, what happened there? Me speculate, me want answers.
Yeah, which is fine.
Well, I'm not judging it. I'm sort of saying that's what you're getting.
Yeah,
at.
essentially.
The reason you're excited for Jasper is because that's a character you're invested in and therefore wish to see more of, not because you want to find out the solution to some sort of mystery about her character, but because you're actually invested in her, just seeing her character and finding out where she goes after the "Hey sis" moment.
Yeah,
right. Yeah, that's reasonable. I think that's really reasonable. And I do, I think I feel the same way. Maybe it's really hard to cite your feelings when you only first saw this trailer like 20 minutes ago, like a couple hours ago. It's like it's a bit tight, but I think, and as well, the idea that Jasper is like, also, I was really worried that they were just gonna have Jasper be good. That shot from
absolutely
shot in Change Your Mind, where she like looks at the diamonds, feels all like humbled and sort of ducks down, like after Amethyst saying "Hey sissy," I was just like, don't come back and have her already be okay with everything. There's an arc there, I think. There's a story worth telling there. And I like the idea that, she's just not quite over the idea that that her diamond is betrayed her so much and becomes Steven. That would be upsetting.
Oh, that's a great story.
Because she was so for rose quartz. And when she came to Earth, she was so angry with the crystal gems because not rose quartz, pink diamond, sorry. But she was so for pink diamond. When she came to Earth, she was mostly mad at them for being responsible for killing pink diamond. That's in, there's so much to unpack there for her. And you're not my diamond to Steven is such a powerful line. No, I knew my diamond, you're not her. That's a really cool notion.
And I suppose I'm coming round to the idea of it being the video from before and Steven using it to try and convince Jasper. Because I think it's quite interesting to show Jasper trying and then to have her just be like, nope, I can't do this, I won't do it. Because then you can build in some conflict with Amethyst.
Yes.
And you can build in a bit of, look, I wanted to try, I wanted to make this work, I can't.
Yeah, it could be very interesting. I'm kind of excited, to see where that goes. I don't think that's I don't know if that's an early episode or not. I can't decide. Maybe all 4 of these are early episodes because it looks like there's 3 or 4 episodes sort of included in this footage, at least. So it's really hard to tell where all the footage is from. The Steven turning pink episode might be a completely different episode to the Jasper one, but again, if I was a betting man, that's where I'd be looking at the moment. There are 2 other shots that indicate potentially other stories or related shots. We'll hit the first one, which is the confirmation that fusion we saw in the intro is indeed Aquamarine and Eyeball. And to clarify, because I got this very mixed up in the last podcast we just talked about this, I got Eyeball and Navy's backstories the wrong way round. Eyeball is the one Steven had in the bubble up in space that got sucked out from the moon base, and he was floating with Eyeball for a while. And then Eyeball tried to kill Steven, and then Steven got saved, and Eyeball floated off into space. Because you said, when did we last see? And at the time, I was getting them mixed up, and I was calling the gem in question Navy, and I answered Navy's the one that came back to Earth and then betrayed them and stole the ship.
But it wasn't.
No, Navy has hilariously, Chris, and you'll be amazed as to how I got these fucking mixed up. Navy has their gem in their navel. Navy. I
mean,
an Eyeball.
I mean, I didn't catch it. So
an Eyeball, Chris, has their eye in their fucking eyeball. That's where the gem goes. So, to clarify, this is Eyeball, the leader of that group of rubies that Steven last saw just floating off in space. Seems to have bumped into Aquamarine and fused. And it does seem to be our Aquamarine based on gem placement.
Right, okay.
So there you go. There's a shot of that. And that gem, that fusion, seems to be at the temple. Don't know why.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That makes sense? That gem's visiting them at the temple?
Yeah, why not? It's a much warmer culture, Dan. Everyone's chatting to each other. Everyone's letting themselves into each other's world. Why not?
So you think the Aquamarine Eyeball fusion is a happy gem? Is a I've had a thought. Carry on.
I'll be honest with you, Dan.
I'm connecting this to another shot. No, carry on.
I've been struggling to follow which which gem's which. You just named a lot of names.
So, okay.
And I'm like, Navy, Naval, right, yep.
So, Eyeball was the gem that tried to kill Steven last we saw by stabbing him, and was left. And then Aquamarine's the one who kidnapped him and took him to Homeworld during the Wanted arc.
Yep.
You know, Are You My Dad?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Both historically not happy gems with Steven.
Yep.
Fused together. 2 gems don't like Steven, fused together. You think they're coming back? They're coming by to have a chat? Friendly chat?
Arguably not. But maybe, Dan, maybe he's taken them to the temple to show them the video of Rose to prove that he is thingamajig, is Pink Diamond.
Oh, you might have hit it. Possibly.
Because it makes more sense to me him doing that with them than Jasper.
Sure. Yes. Why not? No, you know what? Maybe you're right. That is a very good theory. I would plant a flag in that one. No, I wouldn't. I'm not planting flags anymore.
I don't have the confidence. I've seen what happens to you when you plant flags.
Yeah. For those who are new to the podcast and have just come across it, I had a history of whenever I got really determined my theory was right was exactly when it would be proven wrong. So I got a reputation for being bad at theory making. But whenever I made a casual off the cuff theory that was just like low key and I didn't really push it, those are the ones that turned out to be accurate. And every time I went, no, it's definitely this, I was wrong. So I'm not doing that anymore. I'm not planting my flag in any particular theory. I have one, though, not a flag planting one, but a potential one about the very last shot of the trailer, which I think has gone under-discussed, in my opinion. Okay. So the last shot of the trailer seems innocuous because they put the logo over it. But it's the shot of a big red thing with like sort of tentacles or arms coming off it, or veins coming off it, whatever you want to describe it, powering down with a proper pew sound. And it goes from being very pink and red to being bluey and cold and looking off. May I posit a theory?
Mm-hmm.
No flag planting. Could it be that aquamarine, ruby, specifically eyeball fusion, comes back and plays nice and tries to understand Steven, but is secretly planning to sneak into the Crystal Temple and disable it, turning off the crystal heart, the very core of the temple, which we've only ever seen the once, I believe, in Together Breakfast, which is a very, very long time ago, so don't worry if you don't remember what it looks like, because that thing with all the tentacles looks a lot like the crystal heart to me. Maybe that's...
Remind me what the crystal heart does.
It powers the temple, basically. It's the source of power for the temple, gemmy power. We don't really know a whole lot about how it works. We've only ever seen it... Well, I think we've only ever seen it directly once, but it's obviously we've seen bits of it because it seems to hover over the burning room, which is where all of the all those gems were kept, right? So they were all... Mm-hmm. So it all seems to be stuff in the center of the crystal temple. So, yeah, could it be that Aquamarine Ruby comes by and does a navy, ironically, and pretends to be on their side or willing to listen? Steven tries to show them the tape of Rose, maybe, thinks it's working, but in actuality they're just lowering everyone's guard so they can sneak downstairs, get into the temple, disable it, and cripple the Crystal Gems operation.
I think it's certainly a cracking theory.
Possible, isn't
it? I think I'd need to. I'm trying to pull up a picture of it.
Of the Crystal Heart or the shot from the trailer.
No, the Crystal Heart. I've seen
if you go to the Steven Universe,
playing it as we go.
Here, let me show you. I'll show you the picture I've got of it. Have you got your?
Oh, not on there. No. Oh, I just googled Crystal Heart Steven Universe.
Yeah. The first article that comes up on the Steven Universe wiki is Crystal Heart.
Yeah, that could easily be the same thing.
Couldn't it? Yeah. I've never seen that exact angle of it before, where there's like a light in the center, but for sure that could be it.
No, well, I viewed that as a button the first time I saw this.
Yeah, it did. I thought that too, but then you see all those tentacle things coming off it, and it does look like the veins, or whatever you want to call them, capillaries. No, capillaries are the smaller ones. What are the ones that are bigger than veins, Chris? Bigger than veins. I was going to say smaller than capillaries. No, not smaller than capillaries. Ventricles?
No idea. Where are they?
So no, in your
varicose veins. I don't know.
No, in your circulatory system, capillaries are the very, very thin, tiny ones that take blood up to your very smallest extremities. Veins are the bigger ones that are that help carry blood around those areas, and then there are the really big ones that carry blood in huge quantities around your body. They're the thickest ones. They're the ones that if you nick, you're in trouble. An artery, not an artery.
Oh, it's artery. I think arteries is right.
Maybe. Yeah,
I can't remember. I think artery is right.
I don't know. It's if you get a cut and you catch one of them, you're in a lot of trouble because it's a big thick.
Yeah, because I nearly lost the use of my thumb because I had a display boat in a glass bottle, and I was singing along to Irish boy band Boys Are so hard, and using it as a. I think I've got the word now. I'm telling the story. It's not artery. I'll get there. I was using it as a microphone, and I was so enthusiastic that I squeezed the glass. It was quite thin, and nearly cut the ligament on my thumb.
Right.
And nearly lost the use of my thumb. So is it ligament you're thinking of?
No. Oh man, that's good.
Well, anyway, I mean, it was bad.
It's just doing my nut in, isn't it? I can't think of the word. It's driving me up the wall, Chris.
So it was a Saturday. I was doing housework. I was meant to be cleaning the glass thing, not using it as a microphone.
I think it might. Maybe it is artery. Maybe it is.
It upsets me that you're not more concerned for past me.
Well, yeah, because I know present you, therefore I know you fine.
How many times, realistically, how many times have you seen me use my thumb?
Enough when we were playing Rock Band back in the day to know you have one and that it's fine.
I don't know. Not having the use of my thumb would explain my poor scores on Rock Band, wouldn't
it? When we were at uni, like, all those guitar peripheral games were all the rage, and Chris was fucking terrible at them.
There's a load of songs that are quite niche, but feel to me more iconic in the like cultural sphere than they are. Like I know amongst indie fans, Maps by Yeah Yeah Yeahs is a huge song. But the general consensus of people wouldn't know it. But because of Rock Band and us playing that song all the time, in my head I'm always like, yeah, you know Maps. And people are like, no idea what you're talking about.
That was a good one. That was a great song. It was easy to play on the drums, which is why most people picked it.
Yeah.
Anyway, cool. So I think that could be. I think that thing turning off could be the crystal heart.
I think that's a great theory.
Don't have any other theories, but that certainly would cover it, wouldn't it?
I think that's a great theory. My only theory was some sort of spaceship ? So
reasonable.
I feel like we skipped over Bismuth. What do you think she's building, and why does everyone else look so damn happy? And I need to pull it up again, but there were two small things like sitting on Stephen.
We talked about that already because the shot of that new rose quartz gem is. She's going to see. It's when Stephen's taking her around Little Homeworld, I think. Because that new.
Oh yeah, because we talked about Earth Beetle and yeah.
Yeah, so the two things they're not sitting on Stephen, they're sitting on Bismuth's hand. I can see why you might have got that mixed up there.
I'm with you.
So we kind of covered that shot because it's.
But no. What do we think Bismuth is building, or do you think it's just a shot from a montage that they've pulled out to show? I don't think is
necessarily a montage, but like a scene where they're like, "Oh, this is Bismuth." She. I think it's him going. You can find a career here in Homeworld too. If leisure activities and exercising and drawing aren't your thing, well, you can find a job. Look at Bismuth. She's a forger. If whatever suits you, I think that's part of like him walking her around and talking to her about what Little Homeworld has to offer. And Bismuth's an example of a functional, gem that's found a purpose. So, some gems are pursuing art. Some gems are just looking after themselves, doing like yoga or whatever. And some gems are found work. And then it's Bismuth bashing at some stuff. And I don't think it's actually important what Bismuth is building. Again, though, I do want to know why the Heaven and Earth Beetles gems, uncorrupted, are now just sat on Bismuth's hand. I just find that really odd. Just such an odd choice. Unless Bismuth's just like good buddies with them or something from back in the day and she's just hanging out while she makes stuff. Maybe they help. I don't know. I'd be interested to see what that's about for sure.
What about then? I just feel like there's areas we haven't talked about. The shot of the Jaspers, and then that weird multicolored thing that's immediately after the Jaspers.
Well, that's the fusion of aquamarine and eyeball.
Ah, right. I'm with you now. Right, that's partly why I was getting so confused.
Gotcha.
I didn't actually flick to that moment in the trailer. Right, cool. Never mind. Right, what about the Jaspers, Dan? I feel like we've...
Well, we talked about them earlier. That's the Famethyst, isn't it?
Yeah, but we only mentioned... I'm just trying to justify why it seems like I've not been paying.
No,
you know what it is? As we've been talking, I just keep playing through the trailer.
Yeah. So yeah.
It's
So
distracted me for parts
no,
of
it's my
this.
fault. I mentioned them really quickly earlier. So these aren't jaspers; these are amethysts, and these are specifically
Is it the same ones then?
yes, because you can see carnelian in the background.
Oh, yeah.
That's the tall oranger one, and I've forgotten the name for the smaller one, but they talk about the smaller one in that episode because when Amethyst meets the Famethyst the first time while on the in the zoo arc. And she's really excited to meet them. She's excited that she's no longer the smallest one, and that little red one is the one she's referring to. So yeah, it's the Famethyst as in the group that she met on the zoo. So I guess at some point there's going to be an episode that deals with her going off and not rescuing them as such, but offering them the opportunity to maybe leave the zoo and come back to Earth and hang out.
Yeah, because do you think that's in the zoo, or do you think that's
Well, that's a good question.
They've come to Earth?
If I was guessing, I would say they've come to Earth on the basis of, in the zoo arc, we never saw them in the zoo, did we? The zoo bit had those humans in it, like, hello, Greg, or what do they call Greg? They didn't quite pronounce his name right, did they? I've forgotten what they used to call him.
No, I can't remember either.
Oh no, God, looking at the shrubbery, though, in that particular kind of background, that very well could easily be the inside. It's just that we never really saw them in it, did we? They were like guarding it from the outside in the more ship parts. So it's kind of weird to see them hanging out inside of it. But yeah, that could be an episode where they've gone to recover or just hang out with them and bring them back to Earth, or I don't know.
Or it could be one of... See, I guess I don't... Because if you go down the Amethyst trying to teach Jasper plot, maybe Amethyst is introducing Jasper to them.
Sure.
And Jasper just doesn't take to them.
Yeah, possible. But I mean, I don't think any of the shots we have of Jasper suggest anything but a combative relationship. I don't know. But I don't know. You're suggesting that at the later stage, she calms down a bit, and then Amethyst takes her to go see the Famethyst.
No, I'm suggesting that if you build that plot line up of Jasper does try a little bit at first.
I see.
One of the things Amethyst tries is taking her to meet the Famethyst, and
gotcha.
but Jasper can't be convinced.
Yep, totally.
I guess I'm just trying to enforce an arc on Jasper because I want one.
Yeah, yeah, possible.
But also, I think you can do more with it, especially if they are going to go down the aquamarine fusion route. We've discussed two possibilities of try to convince the bad guy to be good, doesn't work, or the bad guy's got a different plan. Mm-hmm. So if we can't do too much echoing, so I'm just trying to think of ways to make those plots different.
Yeah, I see what you're getting at. I mean, I guess one of them being that the villain comes at them fully forthright, I'm not happy with you, and it's about convincing her otherwise. Whereas the Aquamarine one is kind of almost the opposite. She comes like, hey guys, I just I want to apologize for all the bad stuff I did, blah blah blah, but secretly she's got a plan to fuck him over. Like, that's, I don't know, that's...
Well, who was in like the bad guys lineup shot in the first trailer?
Jasper, the Aquamarine, Ruby Fusion, Eyeball Fusion, plus a cactus made out of Stevens, and White Diamond, but like a demonic looking White Diamond, and I'm trying to remember who else. Oh, a big sort of two lapises, two random lapises.
Oh yeah.
That don't show up in this trailer. One with a gem on her arm, one with a gem on her in her navel. We won't call her navy; that would be confusing. And
navy lapis, yep.
Yeah, navy lapis, and then like a sort of like a lizard creature with glowy eyes that people are insisting on speculating is Evil Steven.
See, if it's a limited series, do we think it's a villain a week and that's corresponding to the episodes?
It's hard to say. I am wondering.
Because I hope not. I hope they're not blasting through all those cool villains in a short amount of time.
I think there's a chance they're all linked. Because in that trailer, they've all got glowy eyes. So I wonder if something's controlling them.
Hulking Steven.
Maybe.
No, I'm joking.
I'm really not sure what's going on. It was interesting. There was that moment when that colorist, I think it was a colorist, someone who worked on that particular shot, had drawn white diamond or white, and then Rebecca had to explain to her, and this is in her words, it was like, what she is supposed to be, and it's like, well, wait a minute, what is she supposed to be if she's not supposed to be just normal white diamond? So there's obviously something going on,
and I hope she's not. I love the idea of doing the plot with Jasper. Mm-hmm. I think the ship has sailed on the diamonds going back and forth.
No, yeah. Well, we talked about how it was potentially a mind control thing, and there's maybe a villain that's figured out how to control the diamonds.
I don't think they embedded it. This sounds. I love. This is going to be a random compliment, and we're doing an episode of rewind reviews where this would be better placed. But the perfect example is actually, in Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle.
Yes.
As far as we can tell from the trailer for Jumanji: The Next Level, that kid who was the Rock rebuilds the spoilers for Jumanji: Welcome to the Jungle, rebuilds the game and goes back in. Now, what's brilliant about the writing of that sequel, despite the fact that some people think it's shit, is that sequel ended in a place where if it had been
can I be really cheeky and run for a pee while you continue doing this, because I'm so desperate that I think I might actually.
Well, I mean, are you still going to keep your headphones on and listen to me?
I'll keep my headphones on to listen if that's okay, but I do need to escape for a pee if that's okay, because I'm more desperate than I think I've ever been on any podcast. Is that okay?
Wow, fair play. Although when that was me recently, you just kept me talking. But yeah, I'll let you go. It's fine.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
So. And I know people are like, Jesus, why is he going on a Jumanji chat tangent? But it's a really good example of if Jumanji: Welcome to the Jungle hadn't have done very well, the story wrapped up and it was fine, and it wasn't Universal Monsters franchise attempting to build an obvious sequel. It wasn't trying to do too much. The problem with the wrong way to do it would have been to try to shoehorn in a lot of stuff to make this more of a franchise and make a sequel easier. But what's really clever is there's just that beautifully subtle hint at the end where that character doesn't want to leave the game. The notion of that character going back on how they ended is a really clever one. And the reason I bring it up here is because if they'd have had one of the diamonds in the movie be like, maybe they did it a little bit with some of the stuff that White said, but if they in the movie or in Change Your Mind had one of the diamonds going, yeah, I guess, okay, but what about this? No, okay, yep, you're right, then I'd believe a diamond turning evil. And like I say, I think the one you could do it with is White, but they didn't do that. And, just shout out and respect to Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle, for leaving it open for a sequel but not making it obvious. No, it's compared to some of the shit
I know, I'm on board.
Studios do nowadays to get a franchise. Fair play.
They do it. They've got a running segment on the Weekly Planet, or a running award they do once a year where they give out the award of The Game Is On. Because there was Dracula Untold a few years ago, and it ended with the guy going, "The game is on," and it was the most obvious, we're setting up a sequel they've ever seen. So now they have the Game Is On award for any movie that just spends most of its runtime basically trying to create a sequel for itself.
Yeah.
So no, I 100% agree. In terms of it, the Steven Universe angle on that, I think you're right. I think you can certainly do it, but you've got to lay the groundwork. You can't just go, well, we need more of it, so we're gonna make them bad again, because that hurts the story we just got told. Change Your Mind was very powerful. Well, not very powerful, but we both talked at the time about the limitations of cramming the story into that length of time and how convincing changing someone's mind is when you only have that 40-minute episode to do it in. There's that. But that aside, it was a really effective episode that spent a very huge amount of time trying to convince us that Steven had changed their mind. If they go back on that in any real way now, that harms that more than it does, and I respect Rebecca too much to think she'll do that. So that's why my theory has continued to be that shot of all those villains, specifically, they all have weird glowy eyes. I think there's an element of mind control. Maybe another diamond, because we know that White could do it. White mind controlled several gems, during the course of the show. I think some sort of being, creature, whatever, I don't know what, they're obviously keeping all their cards close to their chest, is mind controlling some of these, because, or at least with White Diamond. I don't think it makes sense otherwise.
Yeah, I agree
for sure. But we'll see. I think I had a much more solid theory with more thought put into it that we talked about back when that trailer first launched. But I'll be honest with you, Chris, it was a while ago and I've forgotten.
Yeah, it's fair. Yeah, well, that's where I was like, "Who? There was a villain's shot, wasn't there? Wasn't there? Who's in that?"
Yeah. So the aquamarine eyeball fusion is in that, which we've talked about here today. Cool. We only got that one shot of them from this trailer, but it's a pretty cool looking villain. If they turn out to be a villain, I kind of hope so. It'd be a waste if not. I think what a great idea. Two characters that really hate Steven fused together. Please let them continue to hate Steven. So I think we've covered all the shots. So the shots that we can't really attribute. So the shots we can clearly attribute to an episode. I think most of the shots where Steven's visiting Little Homeworld with that gem that's potentially a rose quartz, him taking her around, probably the first episode. There seems to be an episode where Steven goes pink and loses control and is mortified by that. I think there's a chance that's related to the Jasper stuff. There seems to be an episode specifically dealing with Pink Pearl. And then we've got a few little loose shots that were less able to connect to other stuff, such as the one that looks like it could be the crystal heart powering down, the aquamarine eyeball fusion, the amethyst, Steven viewing the tape, and Steven pressing the button to reactivate his mother's armory. Those shots, those last few, are looser, less definitively part of any other episode. So they could really be from anywhere.
Yeah, I agree.
Including the episodes we've discussed. Steven could be going to the armory. Steven could be going to the armory to get weapons to fight back with Jasper. Steven could be going to the armory to fight back against the aquamarine ruby fusion.
Could be going to the armory to get a yoga mat to join in with the yoga.
Almost certainly. In fact, if that's not what happens now, I'm going to be extremely disappointed. So yeah, so those loose shots really could. There's contextual. They're so contextless. They really could be from anything. And let's be honest, Chris. Me going to the toilet was your only chance to really get anything a word in edgewise in a podcast with me. So I think that's worked out very well today.
Yeah, shame I didn't use it to talk about Steven University, but still. Yeah.
You didn't use it. You said Steven University. I assume you mean Steven Universe.
Sorry, I meant Steven University.
Yeah.
I'm just so used to.
Well, to be honest with you, I had a real nervous energy for this whole podcast because of how fucking desperate I was to go to the toilet. So I was bouncing about in my seat.
You should have said sooner.
I know. Well, I kept thinking we were wrapping up from 30 minutes. I was like, we only got 10 minutes. So I can hold it, and it just kept going and going. And I was like, actually, now I really can't hold this anymore. The irony being that now we are pretty much, I would assume,
that we are truly wrapping up. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm. If we're laying at that, I'm super excited. There's tons to speculate about. There's lots of possibilities. Steven Universe future looks pretty badass. I'm really excited about the prospects of this. If these few little teasers are hints of some of the stories to come, I think there's something really special coming in our future. Now I just want them to tell me how many goddamn episodes it is and when. When will we see this?
It would be really nice to get that.
But, while this was going, I got some confirmation as to what happened. So, it seems that people found out it existed because the Steven Universe Future YouTube page had a private video or a hidden video of some sort where you could see the thumbnail and the thumbnail and the length or something and the description, but you couldn't watch it. It was private somehow or something like that. And then somebody found it on Google Play Store. It was up for purchase briefly, and they purchased it and have distributed it since.
Jeez.
I don't know if that was an accident or what, but it was.
Yeah, no, yeah.
I don't know how much they purchased it for.
Sometimes that stuff's unavoidable, isn't it?
Okay, so yeah, it was made available for purchase on services like Google Play, and then it was taken down.
I wonder how much they paid for it.
Yeah, I hope not a lot.
Yeah, no, I don't want to be a dick, but maybe. But that suggests it was an accident. That suggests it was never meant to be available to purchase.
I would argue almost certainly. So I wonder what's going on with that. Who knows? Maybe we'll have more information next time we get together to do Steven University. But at the moment, I think that's pretty much it. We've probably covered it in more detail than we were expecting to. But I'm super pumped. Give me some.
I'm really loving it. I'm very excited for more content. I think it looks great. Mm-hmm. Let the speculation roll on. As Dan said before, at some point we will return with a movie retrospective and the behind the scenes documentary.
Yeah, so we'll probably that'll probably be the same video, like episode, I assume, because like we can talk about the behind the scenes stuff and how that's informed our retrospective thoughts on the movie. And I think those two discussions link into each other. I've not actually seen the documentary yet. I've had access to it for like a week, and I haven't had a chance. We've been so busy doing podcasts because we're trying to get ahead, so we don't have to record as many over Christmas for Rewind reviews. Which, while we're here, let's quickly plug that. If you haven't yet come and checked it out, please do. On iTunes, Spotify, all the usual places. Rewind reviews each week. Chris and I take a look at a classic movie, something that's either important to us or from our childhood. So far, we've covered all sorts of stuff. I was like off the top of my head. Let's see, what have we done? We've done Space Jam.
Let me see if I can do them in order. If you've got the list,
go on.
So Space Jam.
Yep. Stuck already. Wow.
No, hold on. Space Jam, Short Circuit.
Yep.
Mouse Hunt.
Yep.
Quick Change.
Boom, got it.
And then it went back to 10 Things I Hate About You.
Correct.
And then RoboCop.
Yep.
And then we're about to do and then Toy Story.
Yep.
And then we're about to do Jumanji.
Yes, but for listeners on the podcast end, the 10 Things I Hate About You one is going to come out a couple of days after this has gone up. Then the RoboCop one, then the Toy Story one, then the Jumanji one over the course of the next few weeks on Tuesdays. And then we've got some special ones we're doing or planning to do around Christmas. So if you want to hear us talk about and review any of those movies at length, please tune in. It's available on all the usual places.
If you're thinking, God, I'd love to listen to some of them early and pay for the privilege. Well, Patreon's your answer.
Yeah, we have a Patreon page where we've been putting up episodes of that podcast early. So the 10 Things I Hate About You one that is not currently available, but is about to be in a couple of days, that's on the Patreon now. And I'm hoping to get the RoboCop one up pretty shortly after this goes up. So, if you want early access to our discussions on any of those movies, you're welcome to give us as little as $1 a month. Patreon style, and you can have access to that content. So there you go. You can support us in all sorts of ways. Actually, you can like us on YouTube. You can review the podcasts, particularly Rewind Reviews, which is on iTunes and stuff. Go give that a review. We'd appreciate it. I think that's everything. I think we've covered it all, Chris.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
We didn't actually say it's patreon.com/nothingbutstatic. We definitely should have said that.
Fun fact. If sympathy helps. A lot of people stopped supporting once we started posting content again.
Yeah, so we initially put the Patreon up and then didn't forget, we just didn't have time to make any extra content for the Patrons, but we were just like, look, if you want to support us, we were upfront about it, if you want to support us, do, but we can't promise content. And then, then when I started putting content up again, I guess that reminded some people they were still paying for it, and then suddenly we lost some.
Did.
So if you're feeling sorry for us, you're welcome to add to our success.
But if you can't afford it, don't want to, not a problem at all.
Yeah, we don't ask or expect it of anyone. It's just if you can and you want to, that helps us cover the bills. We're not looking to make money. We're just looking to break even. That'd be nice. We pay a fair bit for various server costs on these podcasts. From Libsyn, and who are a great service but are a little pricey, and they keep the lights on. Also, actually, in case that you're new to this and you've discovered us today because of this Steven Universe stuff, we also do a TV podcast called Nothing But Static, also on iTunes and all the other usual places, Google Play, Spotify, the lot. So go check out any of that stuff, any of the good stuff. There you go. So thanks very much for listening. I've been Dan Doolan.
I've been Chris Billing.
We'll see you again another time, an undisclosed later date, for more Steven University. Hi guys, Dan here, just with a quick little post-podcast addendum. It's looking like that thing that Steven's fighting against is Jasper, specifically Jasper's foot. Wasn't clear when we were discussing it, but it's become pretty obvious since that's Jasper's boot. So there you go. Thanks to the people of Reddit who noticed that, and then I saw it, and then it was frustrated because we just finished recording. Cool, it's a boot. Goodbye.